Hi, I'm Stacey and welcome to my Book Nook. And today we're going to be doing my March wrap up. As always, let's start with the stats. So I read 6 books in March, and that comes to 1,541 pages, and it has an average rating of 4.3. It was a really good month. It was a really, really good month for me. So I'm kind of hoping it stays that way. I read from 2 new authors to me and 4 known authors, and 2 of those were series, 4 were standalone, and the first one that I talk about I am counting as a standalone because at the time it was published it was a standalone as far as I knew. And then 3 of them were physical and 3 of them were digital. So let's go. The first one I don't have to hold up, even though I do own it, because I loved it so much that when my sister came to visit, I immediately was like, you need to read this. Read it now. Take it with you. So I don't have it with me. And that book is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. And oh my god, I just adored it. I gave it 5 stars. An easy 5 stars because it was so cozy and it made me feel so much. And it gave me the same feelings as The House in the Cerulean Sea, like that really cozy, like joyful feeling. And I think if a book makes you so happy that it could make you cry, then it deserves 5 stars. And I just adored it. So it's telling the tale of Viv, who is an orc barbarian, and she is putting down her sword and she is opening up her very own coffee shop. But nobody knows what coffee is in this town. So it's basically just telling how she gets there and some of the challenges along the way. And I loved it. And I can't stop banging on about it, so I will stop and move on to the next book. The next book that I read in March was Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. Yes, I finally read this book. Finally. And this is a horror book, and I gave it 4 stars. This book has so much rep in it. I was absolutely blown away by that. So it has lots of disability rep. There are a deaf pair of twins. There's someone who's had a spinal injury. I'm sure there's more than that, but I can't remember. And so that's great. It's also got a lot of mental health rep. It's got autism rep. I just really enjoyed the characters in this. I felt like they were quite fleshed out. Okay, this is a horror, so I'm just giggling because, yeah, hopefully you get it. Fleshed out, oh dear. Okay. Yeah, so they're going on an exploration of the Marianas Trench, where our main character's sister basically went missing, presumed dead, because the ship that she was on was found floating around with nobody on it and a video of killer mermaids. So, yes, that's what happened, and they're going on another voyage to investigate, basically. And things go down. Oh my god, okay, some of this horror, most of it I was fine with. There's one in particular, and if you've read this, I'm just not good with anything to do with like blood and veins and yeah, there's one in particular. I don't want to spoil it, but I was not good with it. I felt so sick. And yeah, I'm fine with normal gore. It's just anything inside the body just makes me ugh. Um I loved it anyway. 4 stars. It's a good book. And then I read another horror. It's a small one, and it is What the Dead Know by Nghi. And it was 30 pages long, and I gave it 4 stars. It was quite a cool little ghost story, essentially, about these, what are they called? I can't remember what they're called. But there's these two people who are basically people who pretend to hold seances and things, blah blah blah. You know the drill. They pretend to speak to ghosts. And they visit this school and things go down. And I really can't tell you much more than that because it is only 30 pages long. I enjoyed it, 4 stars. And the next things that I read were 2 things, and it was Saga, Volume 5 and 6. That is by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. It's a science fiction fantasy kind of thing. And it's brilliant, and I won't go into more detail than that. But I gave them both 4 and 4.5. I think I gave the first one 4.5. Yeah, Volume 5 was 4.5. Volume 6 was 4 stars. And I should not really tell you much about this because I'm quite far into it now. But it's about this family, and the couple is on 2 sides of a war, and they have a child. And it's about them and several other characters that are involved in their story. And it's really good. And the last thing that I read, I also ended up really, really enjoying. And that book is If You Still Recognise Me by Cynthia So. Now, I knew that I liked Cynthia So's writing from back from when I read Proud, which is compiled by Juno Dawson, and Cynthia So had a story in there. So I was quite excited to pick this one up. And I really, really loved it. It was so cute. It was really heartwarming, and it explored a lot of issues that many people today go through. And it's a lot about identity and various identities, including queer identities and also Asian identities. I think this one's just about Hong Kong, though, I want to say. But I really loved this. I loved the way that it handled a lot of quite sensitive topics. And I think Cynthia So's writing is for me. And I'm very excited to hopefully read some more from them. So, yes, I gave this 4 stars. And honestly, I think I could potentially have put that up to 4.5. Maybe. But I really loved it. So, that's that one. So that's all from me. Which of these books would you want to read? And how did your March reading go? Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!